Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. It's June 21st. It is 2024. We have a 10-game MLB slate to talk about here on today's podcast, joined today by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, what's happening, my friend?
Nothing much, brother. We didn't really get a chance to talk about Nationals, so we can do that after the show. I was having some technical difficulties with DraftKings. I'm still having that same technical difficulty, and it's very frustrating. But I'm glad to be on. All is well in the world, and we're here to break a slate down. And folks, listen, I've got 1/3 of a chicken tender left. And if you guys will oblige me, I'm going to mute myself and finish this last third of a chicken tender. And we'll hop right in this thing.
The question is, are they homemade chicken tenders or did you pick up chicken tenders? And you'll have to tell us afterwards. So hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday night. What's up, chat? Very active chat already. I'd love to see that, and ready to talk some baseball. We're glad that Thursday slate's over, man. That early slate, the pitching was just atrociously bad. I think I ended up only losing a few dollars, so like it wasn't awful, but I had some really good like Cleveland mini stack Dodger teams, and my pitching just did not get there. So, man, Dodgers and Coors, I'm glad that's over. I'm sure everybody's kind of glad that's over. So, we get started here. 10-game slate on a Friday. If you haven't already, subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind on YouTube. Atlanta at New York, 8 total in this one. Atlanta 120 favorite. We got Chris Sale, Carlos Rodon. Let's start here with my boy Chris Sale. Any interest in Sale going up against the Yankees?
Oh, Stevie, do we pull the trigger? This Sale's been so good. I don't know, man. This might be the one time this season I've been a little hesitant to play Sale. I think he's good enough. I think he will be fine. I don't know if he has like a 30 to 40 point upside here. That's my concern.
Yeah, I mean, you're always worried about the matchup with the Yankees. They're a lower strikeout team. I'm playing a ceiling. It's the same thing that I talked about yesterday with Mackenzie Gore, just playing him in a tough matchup. And Mackenzie Gore was cruising and then had one really bad inning at the end of his start. So that always stinks. But yeah, I mean, Judge was back in the lineup on Thursday. So obviously, I think that we're going to see a pretty normal Yankees lineup here. But Chris Sale, almost 31% Ks. His whiff rate's over 30%, swinging strike rate's over 15%. He's been one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball this season, and he's an elite strike thrower. He doesn't typically go out there and walk a lot of hitters, so you get him to get into the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, and he's thrown at least 7 innings now in 5 of his last 6 starts. So tough matchup against the Yankees. I think in large field tournaments, you could take some shots here on Chris Sale. Carlos Rodon on the other side of this game. I don't know if the Yankees lineup or the Braves lineup is like a scary lineup. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup right now. Sean Murphy had a day. What was it, on Wednesday? He had an incredible day. I think it was on Wednesday. What are we doing here with Carlos Rodon against Atlanta? Oh, the mute. The tilt is coming. Already a mute.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Rodon has been, God, man, he's been such a magician, Stevie. He's been so much better. But once again, I still don't see. We saw, I think that his last start, Stevie, got through the innings, but the strikeouts weren't there. I just keep waiting for this to backfire on everyone. It's just not happening right now. Similar to Chris Flexen, just keeps being a magician. I'm not playing Carlos Rodon, but if people decided that's what they want to do, be my guest. He's not going to be in my player pool today, though.
Yeah, it'd be a lineup thing for me. If the Braves roll out that lineup with a lot of strikeouts in there, I completely understand why you would potentially take some shots on them. But I mean, they just gave Tariq Scoble a ton of trouble on, I think it was Wednesday. Let's talk bats here. Any interest in the Atlanta bats against Rodon?
I think, listen, man, Ozuna and Duvall and Murphy probably at the top of my list here. These guys have just been, tearing the cover off the baseball over their careers. I don't see that changing now. So I really like those guys. Albies has been really good recently. But if I had to choose three, it's definitely Ozuna, Duvall, Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, Ozuna always in play. When Rodon struggles, it's like typically with power righties. Just so everybody knows, I'm dealing with like a sore throat, so I'm trying not to let it bother me, and I have a
all
cough
that
drop in my mouth,
coaching, man. I know what it's like.
Yeah, I was yelling tonight too at practice, so no days off. But yeah, so I'm trying to my throat needs a couple days. Like I'm gonna need the weekend with only the NASCAR show on the weekend. So, but I'm trying to power through. But Ozuna always in play against lefties. Adam Duvall always in play against lefties. Albies has more power against lefties. So when Rodon struggles, like it's typically power righties. So I think that's who you target here. Sean Murphy had a day, like I said, because I think it was Wednesday.
He's kind of been having
Oh, did we lose them? Will is going to be on like massive tilt when he comes back. Sean Murphy, the announcers were talking about how he's been working with Ozuna in the cages, so maybe they hit on something. But I would assume that d'Arnaud draws the start in this one, and I think Travis d'Arnaud is in play. If Murphy's in there, sure, you can take shots on him as well. Going to the Yankees bats, I mean, Chris Sale has just been phenomenal this season. Obviously, like anytime you're facing a lefty, Judge and Stanton have a ton of ceiling. It's a really tough matchup against Sale. I don't think this is a spot that I would play a lot of Yankees bats. I think this is one of those spots you target the upside, if anything else here for some of these Yankees bats. Boston at Cincinnati, Cutter Crawford, Andrew Abbott, 9 total. Pick'em game here. I tell Will that I'm dealing with a sore throat and he lags out. That's hilarious. We'll start here with Cutter Crawford coming off of a fantastic start against the Yankees last time out for Crawford. As a Red Sox fan, love to see that because Crawford was pitching really good at the beginning of the year. He kind of dipped off here a little bit and hasn't been pitching as well. There are strikeouts in the Reds lineup. They are a very good offense as far as like the downside of facing them. So what are your thoughts on Cutter Crawford here, Will?
I think Cutter's fine. I think there will be strikeouts. I think the downfall is he's playing in Cincinnati, and that's probably the drawback, Stevie. But I mean, we've seen him pick up some reasonable scores along the way. At 8,200, I think he's fine. I don't mind playing him against Cincinnati. Once again, I don't like this ballpark, but I don't mind taking a shot on him against him. I definitely think there's some strikeouts available.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts in the bottom half of this lineup for sure. So Cutter Crawford, at least 6 innings in 4 straight. The strikeouts have been back up here recently. Maybe he could keep it going. I think you could attack the strikeouts, but know that he's probably going to give up a bomb or two here. Andrew Abbott, other side of this game. We like left-handed pitchers against Boston. I prefer left-handed pitchers instead of right-handed pitchers against them. Any interest in Abbott against the Red Sox?
I'm just okay with Abbott today, Stevie. Once again, we talked about the fact that, left-handed pitching has been really good against him this season. A fair amount of lefties too, Stevie. I think Abbott is average, and I'm okay rolling him out now. I think he can pick up some strikeouts here. I also don't think he gets out of this game clean. Same thing with Cutter Crawford. I don't think either of these pitchers get out clean, but I think there's enough upside available for him. So I'm okay with Abbott at 8K.
Yeah, I could see it either way. I think that the bats here, Obviously, Tyler O'Neill has been phenomenal against left-handed pitching this season, so I have a ton of interest in him. Outside of that, I mean, it's kind of hit or miss. That the thing is, like, some of these lefties are really good against left-handed pitching, so you could potentially play some low-owned lefties here. But I mean, when Abbott struggles, it's typically power righties. I think Tyler O'Neill is like a prime candidate for a home run today.
Yep, love that call, also, Stevie. Don't worry, I'm gonna do my Raven Rain here shortly.
Any interest here in the Reds bets?
Oh, I mean, not really, which is crazy, but I do think these cheapies at the bottom, like Martini, Benson, Fraley. I mean, maybe you take a shot on those guys, Stevie. Maybe you take a shot on Ellie in this spot, and maybe he picks up a few steals. But I don't want to load up on the Reds today. But I do understand, like, this is a good spot. I mean, their run total as of right now is looking really nice. There's definitely upside in this lineup. If you can get them on the right day, today could be the right day. But I'm not planning to load up on Reds.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like stacking Cincinnati because Crawford does give up home runs, like a couple like timely home runs or a couple timely like stolen bases. You could see this team have a ceiling spot. So it would be a stack. You could always play Ellie De La Cruz against anybody. But outside of like Ellie De La Cruz, the whole team is pretty cheap. So like there's a lot of injuries, and one of the reasons that I have interest in Crawford is because like the lineup potential might be really bad. So we'll see how it kind of plays out. But I do think this is a spot you could potentially stack Cincinnati. And I mean, basically every time, right? Anytime that Cincinnati's at home, you could potentially stack them. Toronto at Cleveland, no total in this game. We're still waiting officially if Rodriguez is going to pitch, but it sounds like he'll be reinstated and pitch here for Toronto. And then on the other side of this game, we got Carlos Carrasco. Any interest here in Rodriguez coming back from the IL?
Not going to do it against Houston, Stevie. And I think he'll have a reasonable pitch count, but I'm not taking any chances against Houston with him today at 9,600. I think it's just a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, he's 5,900. He's really cheap, but I mean, he's an average strikeout pitcher at best from what we've seen, and this is a high contact offense. So coming back from the IL, and like I just don't see a lot of upside.
Did you say he was 5,900?
Yeah, he's 5,900.
Grayson Rodriguez?
No, Yarno Rodriguez for Toronto.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. I was like, what? Yeah. Either way, I'm not playing him against Cleveland. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he threw out 79 pitches in his last rehab start. It's a tough matchup against Cleveland. They're just not a team that I like to play pitching against. I don't love to play pitchers against Toronto either. Carlos Carrasco, I mean, how many times can we like stack Toronto and it not work out and go right back to the well? But I can't play Carlos Carrasco here today.
Oh, yeah. No way I'm playing Carrasco. And let me just say, Stevie, I tried to get this hotspot turned on before the show. The stupid thing was acting up. And I was like, all right, just forget it. And, of course, Spectrum craps out right in the middle of this thing. So finally I got the hotspot turned on. We should be smooth sailing from here on out. But listen, I'm a good guy, man. I treat people nice. Like, it's just one of those days. But it's going to get way better after we win this money from talking about this stuff on this podcast. Let's get it.
Let's talk bats here. I mean, Carrasco has been awful this year. His strikeout rate is below average. WOBA's way below average. His ISO is way below. Gives up a ton of hard contact. Like, here we go again with the Blue Jays. I mean, that's what I just have to keep telling myself, right? I mean, it's hard not to have some interest here. Obviously, like Varsho's having a good year. Jansen's having a good year. Horwitz is cheap. Barger is cheap. Vlad has a ton of ceiling. Like, I'm gonna play the Blue Jays again.
Why do I keep doing this to myself?
That was the initial thoughts when I was looking at this slate. I was like, why?
Oh gosh. Look, man, do you remember like 2 years ago when the White Sox had like what we felt like was one of the best young lineups of all time? Moncada, Robert, Eloy, Yasmani Grandal was there. Like they had what we felt like was a really nice up and coming lineup with a lot of power. And every time we played the White Sox, it just didn't work out. I feel like this is the Toronto Blue Jays. Whole lot of name value, whole lot of really, really nice bats in this lineup. Some older names, some newer names. And Carlos Carrasco is going to walk right out here and throw a gem today. I'm really kidding. Stevie, we have to play Toronto against Carlos Carrasco. But I'm just going to stack them. And I'm prepared for my disappointment. It's just how it is with this team. Stevie, I don't think I've got Toronto right all year. And maybe you haven't either. But gosh, man, can they just not disappoint us against Cookie Carrasco today? There's no way, right, that they just hit a bunch of ground ball outs. There's no way this happens. And yet still, I know how this turns out. But I am stacking the Toronto Blue Jays all the way down.
The Blue Jays, the Padres, the Astros, and the Braves. 4 teams I can't get right this year. Like I've
got Toronto. I've got the Astros right a couple times. Probably because I played them too much. That's probably why.
I got Jordan Alvarez right on Wednesday, but that's about it.
Against
any interest in
of all people.
I know, and nobody else did anything. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? I had a really good, and I'm not salty at all. I am a little salty, but man, I had a good team going. Any interest in the Cleveland bats here?
Yeah, do like Cleveland. Once again, I hate the fact that Steven Kwan is 5,300, but it's the world we live in. Cleveland might be slightly overpriced in certain spots, but that's okay, Steve. I think, facing Rodriguez, I think it's a good spot for this team. Cleveland's been able to put some runs on the board this season, so I really like them. Give me Naylor, I'm not going to shy away from Fry in this spot. Jose Ramirez speaks for himself. I just think there are a lot of nice pieces here, that you can utilize. Bo Naylor, cheap catcher alert, 3K also. So I like this lineup today, Stevie, and definitely want to get some in against Rodriguez.
All right, we got Seattle at Miami. 7.5 total. Seattle, a 164 favorite. George Kirby, Trevor Rogers. Let's start with Kirby. Chalky safe option today. It's a really good spot and a really good ballpark, really good bullpen behind him. Like, no reason outside of ownership and game theory not to have some exposure to George Kirby today.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, man. Kirby, I wish Kirby was like 8,900. Steve, let's just hope that ultimate BABIP is in our favor today. What I mean by that is Kirby's not the highest strikeout guy, but let's just hope he has like incredible run prevention today, Stevie. Go 7 or 8 innings with 5 or 6 strikeouts and no walks and keeps it clean. Maybe gives up a hit or two. And I think we're looking at a really nice score, especially if Seattle can win this game. So I like Kirby today at 9,400. Definitely a guy that is going to be in my top 3.
Other side, Trevor Rogers gets a high strikeout Seattle team. Trevor Rogers has not been pitching good whatsoever this season. Do we take shots on Rogers at 5,400?
Steve, I can't do it, man. I don't know if the upside, what I will call the upside of the possible matchup, I don't know if it's even worth the price because Stevie, he may in fact get 5 or 6 strikeouts in this matchup, but he also may in fact give up 5 or 6 runs. And that's going to totally negate the strikeouts here. So I don't want to play Rogers today. I think, man, this is Trevor Rogers from 3 years ago. We're running to roster him, but at 5,400, and his pitching struggle, Stevie, even against a high strikeout Seattle offense, I can't do it today.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm willing to roll out some Logan Allen, I'm willing to roll out Trevor Rogers at like $2,000 cheaper. Do I think Trevor Rogers is a good pitcher this year? Nope, not at all. But he is 5,400, and I have interest in Trevor Rogers today. Like, it's not a guy that I'm going to go out and play like 30, 40% in my builds, but dude, like 15 points from Trevor Rogers at 5,400 with some of the bats that we have on this slate, sign me up. And I think he's capable of that, even giving up some runs. Like, again, like I'm willing to roll out Logan Allen. I have to be willing to roll out Trevor Rogers in a better ballpark. I mean, this game's in Miami. And I mean, the lineup that they rolled out against Logan Allen, like 29.5% case, like that lineup's going to likely be the same. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. Only 2 guys or 3 guys with ISOs over like 200 against lefties. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't feel great about it. But in tournaments, I'm gonna roll out some Trevor Rogers. But what else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some of these Seattle bats. I really like Dylan Moore. I like Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger, Ty France. Locklear is someone. Tyler Locklear, like he supposedly has a little bit of pop. You get him at cheap first base, like punt play. I mean, yeah. So I don't mind both sides of this game. I don't think I'd full stack Seattle because of the ballpark, but I could see myself using Seattle mini stacks, and I could see myself using Rogers on separate teams.
Yeah, I'm full stacking Seattle. I don't trust Trevor Rogers. So, give me more at 3,900, Julio, Garver. The whole lineup, top to bottom, Stevie, they're getting my investment today. Trevor Rogers has been so bad overall for the season. Like, he's had a couple starts, Stevie, obviously, where he put up nice scores. But I think the Mariners are better than Rogers today. I really like this team, one of my top stats.
Any interest in Miami in this spot?
No. And not because of the strikeout, Stevie. I think Kirby dominates this team today.
Yeah, I have no interest in Miami either. Moving on. Kansas City at Texas. Brady Singer, Nathan Eovaldi. Texas a 142 favorite. Any interest here in Brady Singer?
No. I'm not playing any more Brady Singer. See, this is the roller coaster of a lifetime with him this season. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's all over the place. He's really struggled with like left-handed power bats. So I mean, maybe a little bit of bump because they don't have a lot of left-handed power, but they're still going to throw 6 lefties at him here. Like, they're not
at
all
least
power
5.
guys.
At least 5.
Yeah, I was thinking Heim, Jankowski, Lowe, Smith, Seager, Taveras. So that's 6. So I mean. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play Brady Singer today. I like the price point. I hate the matchup. Roller coaster is a good term when it's talking Brady Singer. Nathan Eovaldi, he's come back now, and he's had 4 starts. He's had 2 good ones and 2 really bad ones. Any interest in Eovaldi here against Kansas City?
I don't really want to, Stevie, but I think Eovaldi's okay. Now, what I'm not expecting is for him to pick up 8 strikeouts, but he could get through 6 innings with 5 or 6 and limit the runs. And that's what I think you're looking for with Eovaldi today. At 8,900, I think he's okay. If I get up to 20 lineups or more, Stevie, I think I end up with Eovaldi. I'm not playing him in 3-entry match or single entry.
Yeah, I mean, in large field tournaments, I think after watching Mitch Spence do his thing on this Kansas City team on Thursday, that was tilting, by the way.
Oh, Thursday was opposite day outside. Probably
it was. I mean, it's hard not because I watched a lot of that game, and it's like, oh man, I gotta not be like recency bias, but man, watching how bad Kansas City looked at the plate, it's like, man, maybe I should play some Nathan Eovaldi. I probably don't get to him today, but if I don't play 150 today either. So yep. Gosh, man, I just I could see why you'd place me Evaldi today. Any interest in the Kansas City Bats?
Not particularly, Stevie. Usually in this spot I probably play with. Maybe I play with. But generally speaking, I don't want to play Kansas City today. I think there's enough offense elsewhere.
My freaking headphones keep rubbing against my ear, and it's making my ear like itch so bad. Yeah, I mean, I think you could always play Bobby Witt. His ceiling is just incredibly high. Pasquantino, Perez, like that little 3-man, you could potentially add in like a Melendez. I think those guys are all fine. As far as the Texas bats go, I think you want lefties in this spot for Texas when you're facing Brady Singer. That's where he struggles. So like Seager, Smith, Lowe is the 3 that I'd look at the most here. Maybe some value elsewhere, but Seager I think is a phenomenal play today. He has a big upside spot going up against Singer.
I am here. I was drinking some water, and
I got him.
I was like trying to click my mute, and it wasn't unmuted, but it is unmuted. Yes, Seager's the top player on the slate for me. One of the top players, excuse me. At 5,200, I think he offers some really strong upside today, and I'm with you on these lefties. I'm still not going to shy away from Adolis Garcia, who's fairly cheap, Stevie. So I like Texas today. I think it's a team that could sneakily be one of the top stacks of the slate, despite the fact that they seem to be letting a whole lot of people down this season.
All right, Baltimore at Houston, 8.5 total. Baltimore, a 165 favorite. I haven't seen Houston announce who's pitching yet. I looked on multiple sites. I was shocked that there's a lineup for this game because I couldn't find a starter. We know Rodriguez is starting for Baltimore, and Will wanted to talk about him earlier. Bloss, some dude named Bloss is starting for them tomorrow.
Jake Bloss.
All right, I'll have to look him up. I don't know who that is. Any interest here in Rodriguez?
Nope, I'm not playing against Houston, man. He's expensive. He's been good. I can't do it, man. I just don't like this price, Steve. I think it's a touch too high. And I know Houston hasn't been elite. I know, we feel like we've gotten it wrong, but I can't do it.
Jake Bloss. Decent fast. Like, is he making the jump? It looks like he's making the jump from AA straight to the majors here. So, yeah, he does have good heat. He can top 96, 97 from what I'm reading here. But
coming in against Baltimore, man.
Yeah, I mean, what a terrible first start. Like going
right. What? There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to worry about playing him because he's not in the player pool here. It's more of like, do we take shots on the Baltimore bats?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking into his stuff a little bit. He has a good slider, good fastball. AA though, like AA to the majors, and like his strikeouts have dipped way down, going from single A to AA. Like, and he's gotten extremely lucky. I think I'm playing some Baltimore bats here.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad we got here. That's what I talked about a few minutes ago. I think Baltimore is one of the top stacks of the day. Like, and Steve, I like to attack young pitchers coming up anyway, just in case. Just in case. And you're telling me this guy's about to make a jump AA to the majors with one of the best offenses in baseball? Sign me up, man. I hope, Stevie, he can make it out of the second or third inning. Like, I love Baltimore today. It's my favorite stat, hands down.
And nothing like getting thrown right into the fire. I mean, he's a good prospect. He's really high up on the Houston prospect list. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, like everything kind of expected him like next year or the year after. So I mean, I don't expect him to stay up unless he goes out and like dominates the spot. But yeah, I mean, overall, very interested in the Baltimore Bats. I think they're a top end stack today. I don't love Houston. Rodriguez is a good pitcher. I think you could target like a home run or two against Rodriguez. Like obviously Jordan Alvarez, but I don't think this is a spot you want to stack Houston.
Yeah, definitely not playing the stack Houston, but definitely not playing Grayson Rodriguez. One of those spots where I feel like both situations kind of cancel each other out. So I'm going to pass on them today.
All right, let's go to Coors. We got Washington at Colorado, 10.5 total here. DJ Hers against Dakota Hudson. Any interest here in DJ Hers?
Oh man, Steve. So here's the deal. So this is another, interesting guy, and he's 6,300. We know that the Colorado offense has been not good most of the season, but we saw in that Dodger series, Stevie, that hey, you get these guys rolling at home and they can score with the best of them. I'm personally fading Hers, but like I understand, like if you feel like he's got the upside to get there, which he's shown a little bit before or a lot before, like I think he can get there. But I'm personally not going to play him today. Going into Coors when this offense has been at home now, Stevie, for what, probably about 5-6 days at minimum. I feel like they've been at home. And they've been seeing the ball pretty well here recently, especially in that Dodgers series. I'm going to fade Hers.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that I have some interest in. I mean, loved his start against Miami. Was his third start, right?
Yeah,
and
did he have like
he does it
40 something fantasy points or something like that?
Yeah,
something crazy.
Yeah. He had a crazy day. He does it with he has an elite changeup, and it's like he throws his changeup out of the same like tunnel arm slot as his fastball. The Rockies, I mean, they can hit right-handed pitching okay. I just don't know what to expect here, what this lineup's even going to look like against a lefty. I assume Tavar would be back in the lineup. Obviously, like Hunter Goodman, Brenton Doyle. I have slight interest in DJ Hers because I don't think like he doesn't throw a lot of downward movement stuff like a curveball. So like I don't know how much the elevation will change and help or hurt him. He's 6,300 and he's another guy that can put up 15 plus. So slightly interested in him. Who is the other guy that we were talking about? I have more interest in Rodgers than I do in Hers, but I'll probably have a little exposure to both of them. Yeah. Dakota Hudson. Yeah, we're not playing him. That's easy.
No.
He stinks. He's just not good. He has a 12.5% K rate. He's done a good job generating ground balls and like limiting the damage. Like overall, I think he's only allowed like over 3 earned runs one time in his last like 6 or 7 starts. Any interest here in the Washington Bats and Coors?
Man, can we get CJ Abrams back in his lineup at some point, Stevie? Every day he's just getting ruled out. I mean, I'd love to have him today. It's a much larger slate, Stevie. I actually feel like I may have some interest in Coors today just because this Washington lineup is still fairly cheap, especially in the mid to bottom of this order. I want to see where ownership shakes out. I personally faded the Dodgers on the previous slate, obviously. Smaller slate, I took my stand. But on this larger slate, I want to see where their ownership shakes out because I don't mind targeting Dakota Hudson, man. And I do think Washington is cheap enough for me to take a shot, which probably means they're going to be over-owned, Stevie, which means I'm probably going to end up taking the fade. But once again, ownership play for me. Want to see where it shakes out, and then I'll make that decision. As of now, I do like Washington because of the prices, but I think this is going to work against me, and the ownership's going to be high, and I'm just going to have to take the fade.
I don't think they'll be chalky at all. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I mean, they just don't have a lot of power. They can run on anybody, but like it's not like Washington's a team that goes out and hits a ton of home runs like Willie Adames just did. But overall, I mean, they're just not a ceiling like team. The thing is, like some of these guys, if they hit the ball in the gaps in Coors, like they're gonna have like stand-up triples. So I have interest in Washington. I could be wrong about the ownership. But it's not like who's their big hitter? Abrams? Like, yeah, I mean, CJ Abrams is gonna have some ownership. He should be back in the lineup. It was like was it ganglion cyst or something in like his wrist, or something along those lines. And he should be
he's
good
just
to go.
been in and out recently. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's been dealing with the wrist, and like they finally figured out what's going on with it. But Winker, I have a lot of interest in like a Winker. Yeah, I mean Ruiz, if he bats fourth at catcher, you're getting a $3,800 catcher that hits up towards the top of the lineup in Coors against Mr. Dakota Hudson. Rockies bats here. I mean, Tovar should be back in the lineup. I have a ton of interest in him. Doyle, Hunter Goodman. It's a young lefty making like his fourth start in the majors, and it's in Coors. Like, we have no idea how much elevation he's ever pitched at. Like, this starting in Coors is just really tough on pitchers. You don't get the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I do have some interest in the Rockies, Stevie, just because, like I said, man, they've been at home. They did hit well in that Dodgers series, and they're still not crazy expensive overall as a team. So I'm willing to roll them out against a young pitcher. You know, I'm not necessarily going to pick and choose bats. I'm going to put some stacks together and see where we land. But I think Colorado is a really good stack. Now, once again, Stevie, I want to make this clear, not to be confused with the Baltimore Orioles, who are my favorite stack today, but I do really like the Rockies quite a bit here in this spot against another young pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I have interest in the Rockies. They're not like overly expensive. Blackman and Jones is banged up, so we're going to get some cheap righties in the lineup. So Montero might be one of the top like first basemen on the slate. He's 3,100, getting a young lefty. He's just way too cheap today. Just way too cheap.
Yeah.
All right, Minnesota at Oakland, 8.5 total. Minnesota 164 favorite. Chris Paddock, Joey Estes. Any interest here in Chris Paddock?
Man, Stevie, I feel like Paddock might be a little too expensive here. But he's getting the Athletics, who is a team that we continue to pick on, slate to slate, getting them in Oakland in a ballpark that's going to be good for pitching. I don't like the price, Stevie. I think I play him. I don't play him in single entry. I don't play him in 3 and 3 max. I think I get to him once I start getting to about 20 lineups. In large field tournaments, I think I play him in my build. But single entry 3 max, I don't think Paddock makes the cut for me today.
Facing the Athletics for the second straight start, his shortest outing of the year last time out against Oakland, only 2 1/3, got absolutely crushed by Oakland, and now like he has to face them again. I mean, I think that it's a pass for me on Chris Paddock. Everyone knows, if you've listened to the podcast ever before, like how I feel about pitchers facing the same team back to back. It's such a hard spot. I mean, you're trying to outthink the hitters, and the hitters are trying to outthink you, and like it's harder for the pitcher than it is for the hitter facing the pitcher back to back. So 8,700 for a guy that has gone over 20 one time in his last 5 starts. He's been struggling. Just faced his team. I'm going to pass. And S is on the same side. Like, he just faced the Twins, and they absolutely rocked him. Like, I want nothing to do with Joey Estes today. It's the same scenario. Like, he just faced this team. He hasn't been pitching good this year. They just rocked him. He's really bad against lefties. They're going to load the lineup with lefties. Like, no interest for me in Estes today either.
Yeah, 0. Next.
Minnesota bats. I hate the ballpark.
Love them.
But absolutely love the spot. Royce Lewis just keeps hitting home runs. I was watching the game that he hit the home run in today because they were playing Tampa, right? So it was up on my big TV in the office.
Another one.
just keep smashing. Kepler left the game early. We'll have to kind of see. It was like neck. He was like, they were massaging his neck in the dugout during the game. Neck spasms, I think it was the official reason he left the game. So we'll see if he's back in there or not. If he doesn't play well, though, I think like Larnach has a lower chance to be like pinch hit for. So it potentially bumps him up a little bit. But yeah, I'm very, very interested in the Twins here. Back-to-back starts. This guy's really bad against lefties. Like the Twins a lot today.
Yeah, love the Twins, man. Definitely another favorite stack of mine. You got Willie Castro, who's going to possibly be batting leadoff. Even the righty, Stevie Correa. And Correa's been a guy that I played a lot this season. Stevie, I started playing Correa, I think when he was 4K, and he kind of came back from being off the injury, and he heated up. He got hot, and Stevie, he's still hitting fairly well. I mean, 4,500, I think that's very fair. Like shortstop, Lauren, Lewis, Buxton, Santana. This team is so cheap, Stevie. Love them against Estes. Definitely, once again, I want to make this clear. I've said it. Baltimore is my favorite stat, but the Twins as an alternate in my top three today. Twins are my top three.
Any interest in the Oakland bats here?
Oh boy, I don't like Oakland, Stevie. I don't. So here's the deal. I don't think I stack Oakland. I think I play Oakland as a. When I say stack, I say full. I mean in full stack. I think 3-mans and 2-mans and 1-offs is how I approach Oakland. I know they beat up on Paddock, but I still don't like this team overall.
Yeah, I like Oakland as like a mini stack today. They're cheap, and again, Chris Paddock has really been struggling. He really struggled against this team last time out. So, like Bledé, Geloff has been fantastic here recently. Yeah, I mean, Oakland's just like one of those like cheap secondary stacks facing the same pitcher for the second straight start. I think you could take some shots on Oakland today. Milwaukee at San Diego, 7.5 total here. San Diego, 156 favorite. We got Colin Ray, Dylan Cease. Any interest here in Colin Ray?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm right there with you. Just a really tough spot going up against San Diego. Low strikeout team. He's a low strikeout pitcher. He's at like 16.7% on the season. So really tough to play pitchers against the Padres. They just don't strike out. Dylan Cease on the other side. Milwaukee's a tough matchup as well. Ceiling wise, I think you have to leave him in your player pool today, but I don't necessarily love him. I just know like the ceiling that he's capable of.
Yep, I'm with you, man. I'm okay with the Cease fade today. I get it. Like you talked about just the ceiling, but you know, Milwaukee, excuse me. They've been a problem team for people this year, Steve. Like they've given people tremendous problems. It's just one of those spots where Cease probably gets 5 to 7 strikeouts, Stevie, but I think he could give up the runs. And that's my concern here. It's not about whether he can get some strikeouts, because I think those will come. But, man, I feel like he may give up one too many runs. That's going to hurt his upside. I like Cease. I agree with your assessment. You play him because of the upside potential. But realistically, I don't expect him to outscore too many guys today. Like, if I had to choose between him and Sale, I think I take Sale. I think Sale's pitched better over the season.
Any interest in the Brewers bats in this one?
Stevie, while they have a few expensive pieces like Contreras, Yelich, I think I take a shot on them here. I don't think they get any ownership today, and I think this lineup could give Cease some problems if they got going early. So I think I play the Brewers here, Stevie, like big time.
They're not my favorite team today, but they've been one of my favorite teams all season. I think you could play them against anybody. Cease a fly ball guy. This game is in San Diego, so it helps that a little bit. Any interest in the Padres here?
Plenty. Love Padres. Padres are top, let's call it 4 stack for me today, Stevie. I don't mind Arias leading off. Now his price continuing to come back down. Tatis has been in fuego. Profar's been good all season. Cronenworth showing tons of power. Machado, they got Jackson Merrill playing. He's 3,200. Yeah, I know they brought old man David Peralta in. He's 2,600 cheap. Cheap catcher alert was Luis Campusano. And they got my boy Kim batting at the bottom of the order. All in all, Stevie, call them gutless, but I have to play them against Colin Ray.
I mean, they are gutless.
Is that a disc golf?
Yeah, I just had it in my hand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Just good old Discmania FD. I'll put it back over here. I keep like extra discs next to my desk that like I need to sell and I haven't sold yet, so I need to sell that one.
Yeah.
Anybody want an FD? Cheap? Send me a DM. As far as the Padres, I'm interested in stacking them today. Like Colin Ray is very hittable, and as gutless as they are, they're still a very talented offense. So I like the Padres. We finished it out. Angels, Dodgers, 8.5 total here. The Dodgers a 200 favorite. We got Patrick Sandoval against Landon Knack. Any interest here in Patrick Sandoval?
No.
Yeah, easy fade for me. Well, I have some interest in Landon Knack today. Like, the Angels are a team I love to pick on. My only concern with like Landon Knack is how deep they'll really let him go into the game. When he's pitched well earlier this year, they let him go into like the 90 pitch range. He went down to the minors. He's been starting in the minors, he was really decent in the majors. I think Knack is very playable if we think he's going to go out and throw like 80 pitches here. And I think 80 pitches is very doable if he goes out and has a really good start. And I think he's very capable of having a good start here against the Angels.
Yeah, Knack is back. I'm good with Knack. And I'm with you with the Angels offense. Like, nothing to be afraid of. And at 7,600, Stevie, I think Knack can get us, with the right pitch count, 15 to 18 points. I think that's well within the cards here. Definitely there will be a few strikeouts. So I like Knack at 7,600. I am in.
All right. Bats? Any Angels bats today?
Look, man, if you're really like salivating for value, Stevie, like you can get Willie Calhoun at first base for 2,900. Like, I'm not totally against that, but generally speaking, I'm not playing the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, Dodgers get another lefty. I feel like this is 2 or 3 straight days of a lefty against the Dodgers. Ohtani.
One more day, man. They would have had Dakota Hudson. One more day.
Yeah. Ooh, can you imagine Dodgers and Coors? So I mean, we're gonna get some value with Rojas, Vargas, Paez, Kiki Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith. Fantastic plays. Freddie hasn't had as much upside this year, but Ohtani, obviously, a guy you can always pay up for. Out of Coors, their prices have come down a little bit here. You always worry a little bit about the first game outside of Coors, but these guys are so good. And Sandoval is, he just, I don't want to necessarily say like he's a bad pitcher, because like Patrick Sandoval, like he's been elite against lefties this year. So maybe this is a spot you don't play Ohtani. But man, he like, for all the like moments of brilliance he has moments of like throwing the ball over the plate and watching the ball go over the fence. And his command, his walks, like he has good strikeout stuff. He just doesn't have the command, and that's something he needs to work on if he wants to stay in the bigs. Morning grind game. And then we'll get out of here. If you haven't already, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Come hang out with us live. Will and I will be back Sunday night to talk down Monday's slate. I think Will and I will be back. It's just like almost automatic by this. Yeah, it's like automatic by now. All right, morning grind game. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Man, Stevie, this is an interesting one. As much as I think I'm going to go Landon Knack here at 7,600.
I thought you were gonna get another Knack is back reference in there, Mr. Mac Attack. I thought you were
Yeah.
going there. I did. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna go Trevor Rogers. Seattle is such a high strikeout team that I think he has the opportunity in the matchup to get 6 or more strikeouts. Over 8K to score under 15. Who is your bust today?
Oh man, Stevie, I think we have actually a fair amount of options today. I don't think I'm going to
Weird.
go. I think we have some options. I'm not going all the way obvious. I'm going to go with. I think we're going to choose the same person, which is semi-scary but not scary. I'm going with Chris Paddock, man, at 8,700.
Yeah, Paddock is who I had listed as well. Absolutely hate this spot for Paddock, so I'm with you. I typically write down 2. I did not write down 2, but give me Carlos Rodon against Atlanta in Yankee Stadium. So there you go.
Could you please be right? I'd love for you to be right. I've gotten this call wrong like too often.
Oh man, the Braves. Over 4K to hit a home run today. Who's going yard?
Tons of options, Stevie. I'm going to land in a guy in my favorite game. Listen, man. Give me Adley Rutschman at catcher today, Stevie. 5,400. A little expensive. That's okay. Today is the day.
I think I'll make him just to like boost your mojo. I think I'll make him the image for the podcast page today. Adley Rutschman. So I'm gonna go with my boy Tyler O'Neill. Homer pick here, but this guy has just been absolutely fantastic against left-handed pitching this season. And this game's in Cincinnati. Fantastic spot. The dude has a 426 ISO with a 515 WOBA against lefties this year. So really like this spot today. Going up against Andrew Abbott. Stack to score 6 or more runs. I feel like I know where you're going with this one.
Well, I'm going to give you a 2 for it. We got to do our favorite hitter under 4K to get 2 hits.
Oh, yeah, I got to do that. I forgot. I went right over it.
It's Carlos Santana at 3,700 against Joey Estes.
Yeah,
and it's the Minnesota.
Chat.
I'm going with the Twins because it's because everybody knows Baltimore is my favorite stack today. Like Baltimore,
so you take my answer.
Like number 1 for me.
He's like, I'm not gonna say the answer. I'm gonna take Stevie's answer instead. My under 4K to get 2 hits today is Spencer Horwitz. I like Spencer Horwitz today. Should hit leadoff today for Toronto on the road, so should get that 4th at bat and potentially getting that 5th at bat here. And then, I mean, I had the Twins, but Will wants to be greedy. Give me my Sox. Give me the Red Sox to score 6 or more runs today. And I did, for what it's worth, I bet Minnesota over 4.5 runs already. I think that is one of my favorite bets today. I didn't see any player props or pick 'em plays up yet that I liked. Is there anything standing out to you today?
Negative. Unless these guys want to talk some KBO, which will already be done by the time the morning hits.
I can't lie to you. I'm so tempted to take Chris Paddock under 15.5 outs. I was hoping that it'd come in at like 16 or 17.5, but it came in at 15.5. I'm so tempted to take his.
Are they giving you plus
that.
money on it?
No, they're not. That's crazy.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, Steve, if they give you plus money, like that might be, you might be in the money to take that one. But yeah, I got you.
Any lines or anything jumping off the page to you here?
Well, I did. Wait a minute. Sorry, I had the lines up. I did pull up the lines, Stevie, and I do think, ironically, like, why are we getting the Orioles at minus 143 here on Bet River? I think, man, like they're mostly around minus 150. I like that. Additionally, hear me out here, Stevie. Okay, just hear me out. You can get the Braves at minus 115. I know it's Carlos Rodon, but man, Chris Sale is on the mound. If we're ever going to pull this thing off, I think it's with him against the Yankees. We've seen the Yankees disappear a couple times. Give me the Braves at minus 115 also.
All right. It's Friday. I got a little 3-bet parlay for everyone here to end the week. Going at 3 money line bets here. Give me the Mariners, the Twins, and the Dodgers. This comes out to around it was plus 290 when I bet it on the Hard Rock app about 20 minutes ago. So little 3-bet parlay to end Friday. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It's summertime, and we're going to get out of here. I hope everyone has a good one, and we'll be back Monday talking baseball.